Okay, in this nugget, we're going to talk about how complex vehicles are today. And then after that, we're going to do a quick recap of what buyers want when their unit has a problem and why service contracts are so popular today. So first, let's talk about cars and technology in cars. And most of this is going to be related to the auto side of things. RV, we don't have as much data, and they're not quite as technically advanced in some cases. So heavily focused on the auto industry here. You're going to see some pictures on the screen, and the pictures you see on the screen are images of the largest machine in the world. Some of you may know what it is, but it's called the Large Hadron Collider, and it's a particle accelerator, right? So at almost 17 miles long, it takes like 2 energy particle beams, and it runs around this huge track at almost the speed of light, and it slams them into each other. So it's this crazy complex piece of machinery, the largest piece of machinery in the world. What they use this for is they're doing things to study like quantum mechanics and string theory and new elements, and then like how the Big Bang Theory may be true or not, and even things like parallel universes. So really crazy, really high-tech stuff. So why am I talking about the Large Hadron Collider? I wanted to put in perspective how the largest and one of the most complex machines in the world compares to a car today, right? So do you all know what computer code is? It's the programming, or it's a set of instructions that makes electronics run, right? And one of the most complex items we can own is our smartphone, right? Your smartphone, for example, has about 12 million lines of code running in it, right? 12 million. And now put that in perspective with the Large Hadron Collider, it has about 50 million lines of code that run this whole thing. So about, 5 times more complex than your cell phone, and everything on your cell phone, which a cell phone is an extremely complicated item, right? Technology-wise. So what about a car? Well, the average vehicle today has about 100 million lines of code running through that. Think about that for a minute. 100 million lines of computer code making this whole thing work and operate and go down the road. People are driving around in one of the most complex machines on the planet. And it's not a matter of if it's going to break, it's a matter of when it breaks. We're going to put up a photo and a link on the screen here that's going to share a site that compares all this information and show you where we got some of it. So take a chance, print that off, go to the link, take a look at it, because I've got it right here. It's pretty interesting stuff where it just goes through a lot of different things on how they have lines of code. And you could find some things that are interesting to you, like U.S. military drones or fighter jets or Facebook. I mean, think about Facebook. It's one of the biggest computer programs on the planet, and it has about 60 million lines of code running it. So that's where we're getting this information from to share this data with you, right? So most people have a hard time figuring out how to even run everything in their vehicle. They certainly aren't going to be able to fix it if it breaks, and people know that today. I also want to mention that cars are better built today than they've ever been built. They just have a lot more that can go wrong with them, right? They're just a lot more complex, so you can have issues with them. It's not necessarily it just won't start. It can be all kinds of other issues, whether it's your bliss system, satellite navigation radios, automatic parking. Some cars are going autonomous, adaptive cruise, auto headlights, or any of the other hundreds of systems in cars. They can break. They're going to break. They're all electronics and mechanical, and that's what happens to them. To put it in another perspective, there's about 320 million ROs done per year in our industry. So repair orders, things getting fixed, versus around 50 million units that are sold, right? So that's not quite a 10-to-1 ratio. Every service department in the country is full all the time, and one of the hardest jobs to fill in a dealership is a technician, right? And all this information I'm giving you isn't so it's like fear tactics. You got to scare people into this stuff. It's not. It's just the facts. I'm just explaining the facts that these vehicles are extremely advanced and very complicated. And when they have a problem, they can be surprisingly expensive to fix. When they do have a problem, those people want experts who know what they're doing working on them, not just the cheapest bidder. And that's why so many people buy service contracts today. So let's just recap on all this information. 50% of people buying vehicles today are purchasing extended service contracts, and that number keeps rising. It's because vehicles are very complicated and very expensive to fix. We need to be passionate about this information. We need to share it with our consumers, educate them on it. Because when they have a repair problem, here's what they want. They want it fixed right away. They want it fixed by experts. and they want the best parts put back in their vehicle, right? Service contracts allow all of that to happen on a budget, right? This is the type of information that we want to be sharing with our customers when we're disclosing the warranties to them in our presentation process, right? So study this information, practice it, use it, and maybe it surprised you guys a little bit. Most people don't know how extremely complicated cars are today and why cars have repairs and they're expensive. So go use this, practice it, have a great day.